I do know she's 22 years old and handled all this noise better than most of us would at 42.
Caitlin Clark has been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, joining the ranks of legends like Lionel Messi, Aaron Judge, and Simone Biles. But instead of universal celebration, this historic moment has sparked an intense debate. Why does an athlete so clearly deserving need defending? Stick around as we break down the criticism, the support, and the game-changing impact Caitlin Clark is having on women's basketball. Setting the stage, Caitlin Clark's historic achievements. Let's start with the facts. Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player, she's a generational talent. At Iowa, she redefined women's college basketball, National Player of the Year in NCAA career, and tournament records for points, leading the Iowa Hawkeyes to the Final Four after being drafted by the Indiana Fever as the No. 1 overall pick. Clark immediately dominated the WNBA. Rookie of the Year, led the league in three-pointers, broke single-season assist records, helped the Fever make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Off the court, she's driven unprecedented interest in women's basketball. Her games consistently sell out arenas, TV ratings have soared, and she's now the most viewed player page on Basketball Reference, both in college and the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is more than an athlete. She's a movement. The backlash. Why the criticism? So, why is there controversy? Critics have questioned whether Clark deserves Athlete of the Year, pointing to issues like privilege and representation. Even within the WNBA, voices like Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson have suggested the award overlooks other talented players, particularly black athletes. Johnson proposed that Time should have recognized the entire WNBA instead of focusing on Clark, arguing that celebrating her takes attention away from others. But here's the reality. Clark's impact is undeniable. She's elevated the WNBA to a level of relevance it's never seen before, bringing new fans and opportunities to the league. Some have tried to diminish her success by suggesting it's tied to her demographic appeal. But that argument falls flat when you consider the likes of Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods, all athletes who transcended their sports through talent, charisma, and relentless dedication. Caitlin Clark is no different. Addressing privilege, Caitlin Clark speaks out. Clark hasn't shied away from the tough conversations. In her Time interview, she acknowledged the complexities of privilege, saying, "As a white person, there is privilege." She didn't apologize for her success or downplay her achievements. Instead, she owned her journey and highlighted the importance of representation in women's sports. Her honesty has drawn mixed reactions. Critics argue she should have stayed silent, while supporters applaud her for tackling these issues head-on. The reality is, Clark is navigating a minefield of expectations. As one of the biggest stars in basketball, she's under constant scrutiny, whether for speaking out or staying silent. The support, legends, rally behind Clark. While the criticism has been loud, Clark isn't standing alone. Sports icons from all corners are stepping up to defend her. Gabby Thomas, Olympic medalist in track and field, fiercely defended Clark on social media, shutting down detractors. Chris Evert, tennis legend and former world No. 1, praised Clark's contributions to basketball and her Athlete of the Year recognition. Serena Williams shared her own experiences facing backlash early in her career, offering Clark advice. If people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do. These endorsements aren't just about supporting Clark. They're challenging how we recognize talent and contributions in women's sports. The WNBA's silence, a missed opportunity. Here's the twist. While stars from other sports are rallying behind Clark, the WNBA itself has stayed quiet. Why? The league is walking a tightrope, trying to balance celebrating Clark without alienating other players or fans, but their silence is becoming deafening. With Clark bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball, the WNBA risks missing a golden opportunity to grow the sport. Changing the narrative in women's sports. The Caitlin Clark controversy highlights deeper issues in women's sports. How do we balance individual achievements with team representation? How do we address privilege without undermining talent? And how do we shift the conversation from criticism to celebration? Clark's rise is forcing us to confront these questions. Her journey is more than just about basketball. It's about changing how we view women's sports as a whole. The broader impact. Caitlin Clark's role in growing. Women's sports, Caitlin Clark's influence goes beyond her individual accolades. She's part of a larger movement that's changing the perception of women's sports. Women's basketball has historically struggled for visibility and recognition, but Clark's rise is proving that there's a massive audience for the women's game when it's marketed right. Attendance and ratings surge. College basketball games featuring Clark consistently sold out, and her transition to the WNBA brought record-breaking TV ratings. Pro games have been moved to larger arenas to accommodate growing fan interest, inspiring the next generation. Clark's ability to connect with young athletes and fans is helping build a stronger pipeline of future players and supporters. She's a role model for millions of young girls who now see a viable path in basketball. The rise of stars like Clark is ushering in a new era where women's sports are treated as a valuable product rather than an afterthought. The role of media, how the narrative is shaped. Another critical aspect of the Caitlin Clark debate is the role of media coverage. While local outlets like WH13 in Iowa have passionately defended her, some national media outlets have fanned the flames of controversy. The double standards in criticism. Women athletes often face a level of scrutiny that their male counterparts do not. When was the last time a Time Athlete of the Year faced this level of backlash for their achievements? Clark's journey highlights the need for fair and balanced coverage of female athletes. Changing the headlines. The positive attention she's garnered from supportive media outlets is a reminder that narratives can shift. By focusing on Clark's impact instead of manufactured controversies, the media can help elevate the conversation around women's sports. The media's role in shaping public opinion cannot be overstated. As fans, we must demand better storytelling that celebrates achievements rather than stoking division. The fans, a silent majority speaking up. A crucial part of this story is the role of the fans, the so-called silent majority who admire and support Caitlin Clark. While online critics may dominate the conversation, the overwhelming majority of basketball fans recognize her greatness and what she's doing for the sport. Grassroots movements. Fans are organizing meetups, creating viral highlight reels, and spreading positivity about Clark on social media. Bridging divides. The passion of Clark's supporters proves that basketball fans, regardless of gender or background, can rally around exceptional talent. As this silent majority grows louder, they are rewriting the narrative around Clark and demanding that her contributions to the game be respected. Lessons for the WNBA and beyond. The Caitlin Clark controversy is a moment of reckoning for the WNBA and women's sports as a whole. Here's what needs to happen moving forward. Unified support. The WNBA must do more to celebrate Clark and other emerging stars. A divided league risks alienating its fan base at a time when momentum is finally building. Empowering players. Female athletes need a stronger voice in shaping the league's narrative. Platforms like Time should be seen as opportunities to unite, not divide. Elevating the game. The league should capitalize on this moment by investing in marketing, infrastructure, and partnerships to ensure long-term growth. Clark's rise is a wake-up call for organizations to take women's sports seriously. It's not just about basketball. It's about building a sustainable future where talent and hard work are celebrated on equal terms. What this means for women's sports. Moving forward. Caitlin Clark's journey is symbolic of a larger shift in the world of sports. Women's basketball is no longer a niche interest. It's becoming a mainstream phenomenon. But with growth comes challenges. Representation versus recognition. The debate about Clark's Athlete of the Year title reveals the tensions between celebrating individual success and ensuring inclusivity. The importance of allyship. Athletes and fans alike must work together to create a more equitable sports culture, a new era of accountability. As women's sports grow, the media, fans, and leagues must hold themselves accountable for fair treatment and representation. Caitlin Clark isn't just an athlete. She's a catalyst for change. Whether you're a die-hard basketball fan or new to the game, her story is a reminder of the transformative power of sports. Breaking down the criticism. What's really driving it? Let's take a closer look at the backlash Caitlin Clark has faced since being named Time Athlete of the Year. While some criticisms appear surface level, they reveal deeper issues within sports culture. Privilege debate. Critics argue that Clark benefits from privilege, but this overlooks the years of hard work, skill development, and determination that earned her the title. Comparison with other athletes. Some claim other WNBA stars deserve more recognition, but isn't the point of sports to celebrate standout individual performances? Clark's stats and impact speak for themselves. Undue scrutiny on women athletes. Male athletes rarely face such heated debates over their awards, proving there's still a double standard at play in how we view women's sports. Clark's ability to handle this criticism with grace is a testament to her maturity and leadership. She's not just breaking records. She's breaking barriers for athletes who will come after her. The role of rivalries in elevating the sport. One of the more overlooked aspects of Caitlin Clark's journey is how rivalries have helped elevate women's basketball. Clark versus Angel Reese. The competitive dynamic between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese during the NCAA tournament brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball. Their fiery exchanges created a storyline that transcended the sport, drawing in casual viewers and sparking debates across social media. Rivalries create fans. Rivalries are part of what makes sports exciting. Michael Jordan had the Pistons, Serena Williams had Maria Sharapova, and now Caitlin Clark has players like Reese and others to push her to greater heights. A healthy competition. Instead of dividing fans, these rivalries should be seen as opportunities to grow the sport. They add drama, passion, and stakes that keep people coming back for more. Clark isn't just playing her own game. She's helping create a broader narrative for women's basketball that keeps fans invested long-term. The global impact of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's influence isn't limited to the US. Her rise is creating ripples in women's basketball globally, inspiring international players. Young athletes worldwide now see a path to stardom in women's basketball. Thanks to players like Clark, her success showcases the sport's potential to transcend borders, boosting international competition. As basketball gains more attention globally, the level of competition in international tournaments like the Olympics and FIBA World Cup is expected to rise, building a global fan base. With highlights circulating online and games becoming more accessible via streaming, Clark's appeal has reached fans in Europe, Asia, and beyond. By putting women's basketball on a global stage, Clark is not just growing the game in the US, she's becoming a worldwide ambassador for the sport. Lessons in leadership. What we can learn from Caitlin Clark. Beyond her skills on the court, Caitlin Clark's journey offers valuable lessons in leadership and resilience. Staying composed under pressure. Clark's ability to navigate controversies with grace and focus is a model for athletes and fans alike. Using your platform for good. Her acknowledgement of privilege and willingness to spark conversations about representation shows she's not afraid to tackle tough issues. Embracing the spotlight. Clark isn't shying away from her newfound fame. Instead, she's using it to elevate her sport and inspire others. Clark's leadership extends beyond basketball, making her a role model not just for athletes, but for anyone striving to make an impact in their field. The future of the WNBA, a league poised for transformation. Caitlin Clark's entry into the WNBA has sparked discussions about the league's future. New stars, new fans. With Clark and other young players leading the charge, the WNBA is attracting a new generation of fans. Marketing opportunities. The league has a chance to capitalize on Clark's popularity by creating campaigns that highlight her journey and the broader appeal of women's basketball. Expanding the game. As more eyes turn to the WNBA, there's potential for expanding the league, whether through new teams, increased media coverage, or international collaborations. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and players like Clark represent the spark it needs to reach the next level. Call to action. How you can support women's sports. The Caitlin Clark story is about more than just one player. It's a call to action for all of us who love sports. Support women's games. Attend games, watch broadcasts, and share highlights to show there's a demand for women's basketball. Celebrate achievements. Don't let negativity dominate the conversation. Highlight the incredible feats being accomplished by women athletes. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and players like Clark represent the spark it needs to reach the next level. Call to action. How you can support women's sports. The Caitlin Clark story is about more than just one player. It's a call to action for all of us who love sports. Support women's games. Attend games, watch broadcasts, and share highlights to show there's a demand for women's basketball. Celebrate achievements. Don't let negativity dominate the conversation. Highlight the incredible feats being accomplished by women athletes. Challenge stereotypes. Push back against outdated ideas that women's sports aren't as exciting or worthy of attention as men's. If we all play our part, we can create a world where athletes like Caitlin Clark are celebrated for their talents without unnecessary controversy. Caitlin Clark isn't just redefining what it means to be a great basketball player. She's redefining what it means to be a leader, a trailblazer, and a voice for change. Her journey is far from over, and we're lucky to witness the start of something truly extraordinary. What are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's impact? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.